What's up, y'all? All right. I'm excited. So, this is my introduction to this channel, what it's going to be, what I hope for it. I've called it the Sacred Clown Tarot. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be wild and very fun and insightful. I'm going to do an archetypes reading to kind of like clear up, give some perspective, some images on what I hope for this channel to be. Obviously, I'm going to tune in, get my spirit guides, interpretations on what this channel, what my voice, what my presence is going to be like in this. I can tell you as much that this is a long time in the making, a long time in the running. Over 2 years of me going back and forth as to whether or not I legitimately wanted to do this, how I was going to embody this, how I was going to make this come to fruition. There have been a lot of waves, a lot of tumultuous experiences, emotions, a lot of thinking, rehashing, planning, strategizing, throwing it all into the water is what comes to mind. I don't know, setting out on fire, I don't know. It's been a long time coming. And I was honestly going to make this video, hop in, and just do it and, pull cards. I'd, done my meditation. I had tapped in to all my guides, who I will say are Yeshua, Jesus Christ, Mary Magdalene, Israfel, or Archangel Raphael, Siddhartha, or like the original guru, Muhammad, and Archangel Michael. Those are like the core subsect that I go to, and I feel them at different parts of my body. I'll go into that more as I kind of communicate. But I was tapping in, doing my meditation, and right as I was about to go onto my phone to start doing this recording, to do this video, my phone shut off, and I had it plugged into my computer. I thought it was in the charging process, but I heard my earphones go bloop bloop, and kick out, and I was like, oh, well, it's just because my phone went black. But it's like, no, it's because it straight up turned off. So I was like, oh, well, fuck, all right, I guess I need to charge my phone now. Or I was like, maybe I can do it on my laptop. So I went to my laptop, opened it up, and I was gonna do it in the photo booth or whatever it is. And I stumbled across my very first ones that I did, and I did post just on a different channel, and I was drawn to my very first one that I made, and it was back in, I want to say it was 2020, maybe even 2021, but probably more so realistically the tail end of 2020. And I just sat with it, and I was like, oh, wow, this could be embarrassing. But I went back and I watched it before doing this, because I wanted to gain some perspective and see, what was my initial approach? What energy did I come at this with? And I can say that I'm, very proud of the progress I've made. But more so, what I'm seeing, and everything happens for a reason. There's a reason my phone went off, and when I went to my laptop to poke around and to see another way of doing it, and I saw the original way I went about it, and I think the wisdom and the message was always there, and a big portion of my reluctance was my lack of confidence and not being assured of myself and who I am. And that's really what I want to inspire with everyone that watches this channel or that hears my messages. I'm here to empower you. I have a very unconventional way of doing that. I'm going to be snarky, I'm going to be wild, I'm going to be explicit. I'm going to interpret things from outside the box. I'm going to be unwieldy. I just saw 444 as I said that. I'm going to be unwieldy. I'm going to be wild. I'm going to be ludicrous in moments with how I interpret, the emotions, what I'm tapping into. But I see 1, 2, 3 on the clock right now. But that's a part and parcel of how I do it. That's what the sacred clown energy is all about, and that's why I've gone with that term. I was drawn to Heyoka and it resonated with me, but it's become like such a fad, and in a way, I believe that term is cultural appropriation, so I've always been wary of using it. But in all reality, like, the sacred clown energy and what it entails, and if you do your research, it makes sense, and I've been like reluctant to call myself that or to embody that energy and be like, oh, I'm a sacred clown or I'm a Heyoka. But like the signs just point to it for me. I'm built differently. I see things in a different way. I just, I'm about the fuckery. And I see the fuckery and everything that goes on in the world, and there's a darkness that I see and that I embody, but there's a lightness and a brevity, and that dichotomy is constantly in play with how I see this world and how I enact upon this on this earth, within this cosmos. I'm embody two spirits all at once, and I'm not here to culturally appropriate and say I'm a two-spirited being like indigenous people would. No, it's like I mean it to the fullest extent. I've had psychics get thrown off because they're like, why do you have two spirits? And I'm just like, you just mean that I've got a masculine and feminine balance. But they're like, yeah, but like, how do you do that? Or how do you have two spirits within you? It's like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I came into the world like this. I strongly connect with my masculine side, and I strongly connect with my feminine side. And if you do your research and you look into like what the Heyoka or sacred clown is about, it's about flipping everything on its head, inside out, calling out the ironies, the dichotomies within our lives, and poking fun at how we conduct ourselves. So I'm a man on this earth, that's what I identify as, but I embody very strong feminine energy. I embody divine healing, nurturance energy, but I also embody very strong, reassured, confident male energy all at the same time. And some people don't know how to make sense of me. I didn't know how to fucking make sense of me, people. It's been a long time in the making. And a part of my confidence, what I've been building up, is just owning my light, owning the fact that I resonate, that I stand out different from other people. And that's perfectly fucking fine to do. You're an individual. We're individuals. We're here to resonate in different ways, to look past the usual. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just at a fucking loss for words right now. But I don't know. You can just see it in my presentation. There's some natural feminine qualities to the way I present, but there's also some classic reassured masculine energies, the way I want to present myself. And I hope you can make sense of them, but at the same time, I hope you don't fucking make sense of them, because we don't have to understand everything. And the energy and the way I go about things, it allows us to see things in a new perspective. And that's all I really want to do for you. I want to help you step outside the fucking box of your brain, of your mind. And shed some light in the darkest places that no one wants to fucking look at, because we're just terrified of ourselves. Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to tap into some archetype cards, and I'm going to see what messages need to come through from spirit, from my higher self, from my spirit team, as to what I'm meant to embody on this channel for you guys. I've already been talking for almost 10 minutes. But I think, like, flow it out my mouth. That's what I'm here to do. I'm a fucking oracle of sorts, people. Fucking get over it. I did. So here we go. Alright, I'm going to tap in. Embody that unconditional love, y'all, and just let it flow. And be at peace. Clear the mind. Full hearts. Clear minds. Make room for grace. Alright? Alright, so I'm going to do the shuffle duffle. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to have some light banter with you while I get this running. But ultimately, yeah, Spirit, what do you want to let people know about how I'm going to conduct myself on this channel? What messages are going to come through to my higher self, to God's source creation, to all the angels? What messages? Well, David Joseph Raphael. That's my full name, David Joseph Raphael. Oh, that didn't flip over, so I'm not taking it. Did not flip over. I'm going to shove this little mofo back in here. Back into David. Yeah, that's my first name. David, King David, slayed Goliath. Joseph, and his Technicolor Dreamcoat in the Bible. I was raised Catholic, so I got an uber Catholic Bible name. Joseph, the Dreamer, wore the Technicolor Dreamcoat. You'll see that in my style, in my presentation. And then I was confirmed a Catholic. Confirmed a Catholic. Looking at 1111 right now. Confirmed a Catholic. And then I woke up. Afterwards, I woke up in college and I saw there was more. And that it was okay to look outside the box for answers. Because, man, not all the answers are in the box. Raphael is the name I chose because I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a healer. I wanted to be a psychologist. I've always had an affinity for healing people, and Raphael is the patron saint, archangel of healing, of rebirth, of regeneration. Oof. All right, well, that card popped out. So yeah, David Joseph Raphael. That's the name I go by. I leave out my last name just for privacy's sake and because my family doesn't need to be attached to my work. I've already transmuted the energy attached to my family. That's why I stand before you today, confident as all get up. 2 cards have popped out already, but I'm not like feeling that they belong yet, so I'm gonna pop them back in. All right. We're going to do one more shuffly duffle. I just keep on running my mouth. I'm excited, though. Excited to be here. What messages need to come through for me to communicate as to what this channel, the Sacred Clown Tarot, is going to be about for the masses, for everyone that comes across it. All right, one more time. Kind of just know when it's the right time to draw. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to draw 3 cards, and then we're going to have a card at the bottom of the deck that gives us our underlying energy. Much like my first one, all right, that I ever did. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, that was a terribly long introduction, guys, but I do like to run my mouth, so you're just gonna have to get used to that. Anyway, all right. I have a 3 cards drawn. I'm gonna do the underlying energy. Look at that, the Mentor. This card appeared in the first video that I just watched of myself. So coincidental? I think not. I think it's meant to be. And I'm going to post that video just for nostalgia, reminiscence sake at some point, just so you guys have a sense of where I was coming from over 2 years ago when I first started doing this. But underlying energy is the Mentor. So I'm going to tap into that energy, and we'll see what it has to say. Hello, Finley. All right, so it's coming through like it did back in the day. He's laying down on the cards that I just pulled. What a little poop head. All right, but they always do this. So I was pulling cards for myself last night, and my other kitty, Calliope, aptly named, just laid down right in front of the whole spread that I had for myself. I'm doing a personal reading for myself, and she's just like, oh, I see you're giving attention to someone or to something that isn't me, and let me just sprawl out across this. Did it like 11 different times. I had to redirect her, move her all over the place. It was a whole scene. Anyway, we're getting back to the message. The mentor. All right. So when I initially pulled this card 2 years ago for my first reading, it was the concentration on this energy was the fire. It was brewing in the chest. It was inspiration, innovation, but something wanted to come through. It's almost like spirit invigorating the solar plexus, but getting stuck in the heart, because our hearts weren't open yet. We are all, through COVID, in my mind, having a heart center awakening. We need to unlock our hearts, our heart chakras, our capacities, our inner capacities. And the owl was the embodiment of wisdom, of all lessons, of all teachings, all of our misgivings, all of our failures. Those were our mentor. All right? But this energy coming through right now, today, with the mentor, speaks to me more so that there's a fire in the chest, but it's more gentle, it's more serene, it's more calmed down. And if you've done the work, if you've done the clearing, if you've engaged in retrospect since 2020, if you've learned the lessons, if you've found greater peace within yourself since then, you've probably unlocked yourself a little bit. You've unlocked your heart. Or at least I know I have. I've cleared out so many blockages. And it's a gentle fire. It's contained, but it's more serene. It's not like an unwieldy energy that's trying to come out and trying to burst. There's no blockages. There's no clogs. There's a surefire fire. There's a surefire in the heart space now that's not going to burn out. And that's the presence of Christ in your heart. It's that spark of life, that spark of light, that reassuring energy that's saying, it's here, it's time. Spirit has been awakened within you. Will you accept it? Will you embody it? And for me, being here, the one that's speaking, I feel and know that it's talking to me as a mentor for anyone that comes across this channel, that I'm here to be present with you, that there's a spark that I hold and I want to help you and I want to teach you how to hold this spark within yourself. It's the confidence, it's the reassurance, it's your own divinity within yourself that you know is present. It's just the acceptance of it. All right. Our 3 other cards that came out that I had to remove from underneath Finley are the Judge, the Shapeshifter, and Althea. I always have trouble pronouncing this one. I've had it a couple times. Well, Alethea is how I pronounce it. Alethea. All right. So I'm going to tap in very quickly to each and every one of these. I'm already getting a pretty clear message, but we'll just do it. I'm going to drink some water real quick for some sustenance. Hell yeah. Okay. The Judge, we're tapping into real quick for y'all. So the Judge is here to speak about my own judgments on reality, but also help you better your own discernment. In a world that's very gray right now, from what it seems, I'm here to help you use the discernment to see what is black and white. I was having a conversation with my mother before about when it's appropriate to cut someone out of your life, because we're both going through a sense of understanding, but also a hardship about processing something from our past. Oh, so you think you can just, interrupt everything like this? This is very nice of you. Very cute boy. Anyway, we were talking about when it's appropriate to cut someone out. And she talked about it's very gray when you have long-standing relationships. And I told her, it's like, well, I haven't been around as long as you. I haven't had the length of relationships that you have had. But for me, I've cut many people out of my life. I've cut many people out of my life when I felt like I was not being appreciated, I was not being respected. And I just had to do it recently, with a partner of mine, a counterpart who I thought was very significant in my life, but I realized that it was time to let them go. And my intuition had been telling me for a while, but my logical brain and my heart being attached to what I had established with this person in the physical and where I had been with them or I'd been with her and where we were going, I had already mapped it out, so I didn't think that it was time or that it wasn't sensible for me to do it, but my intuition was spot on the entire time. And I just refused to engage and to acknowledge it. And the discernment kicked in, and I got a clear indication from the universe, from God, from spirit, that jump started me to be like, no, it's time right now. And I acted with discernment, and I was like, all right, but I know what I have to do. I made the decision, and needless to say, it's very much the right decision, because this person showed a very cruel, and nearly like wicked side to themselves that I really couldn't have foreseen. And it still stirs me right now thinking about it. But I made peace with a situation a while ago. And they just come back for more every time, and keep on trying to put me down. And it realizing that my intuition was on point for a very long time, as to why I didn't want to open up to this person to the fullest capacity. My discernment was there, and I almost berated myself for not opening up, because this person wanted me to open up, but there was a vacancy in their heart space that couldn't receive what I had to expose. My vulnerability wasn't going to be honored if I opened up, and it's hard to communicate at times, especially when someone isn't ready to receive you for all that you are. And it's one of the hardest things as a human to accept or to come to grips with, that vulnerability. And that's what I'm hoping to be here with you, is to be vulnerable. I hope you're staying with my message, because I know I'm a little all over the place. But as this vulnerability, I'm here to be vulnerable with you. I've healed my heart space. I've been honest with myself. I've been honest with all my loved ones in my life. And I'm here to be honest with you guys. I'm here to expose and fully embody my unconditional love for all of you. That's why I'm here. I really have nothing to hide. So I have nothing to hide as far as my judgments and my discernment about what's going on in this world, what's going on with me. It's time for truth. And if it needs to be seen in black and white, I'm going to fucking give it to you. And if there's an area to interpret the gray, I want to interpret it with you, all right? The judge. That's the energy that wanted to come through. All right? The shapeshifter. All right, I'm going to tap into this real quick. Little burp. The shapeshifter energy, it reminds me of a lot of stuff. It's a little fucky, But this reminds me of the Joker's face from The Dark Knight. It's almost like a blacked out. I think it's actually an animal. It looks like a panda, but it reminds me vividly of his blacked out eyes and his whited out face behind there. And then you've got like an eye. You've got a tiger back there. You've got a whole bunch of, it's a mirage of different stuff. And then you've got like snake skin going around here, the shapeshifter energy. So there's a lot of things I can draw upon with this energy, and you see that it's multiple colors, it's multiple phases, it's a lot of everything, the shapeshifter. And in essence, that's what it is. 2525 just now, if that means anything for anyone. And 144 on the clock. The shape. Oh, I'm just realizing this now too. There's a jewel kind of like in the where the third eye should be. I love that, and it's in a rich purple, which is the color of the third eye. A lot to unpack here. So seeing the Joker makes me think of the darkness, the chaos that's embodied behind all of this, the unconscious. If you've seen Christopher Nolan's Batman, The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger's interpretation, for any modern movie buff, that movie stands out, and that character, that embodiment of that archetype really stands out, because he embodies chaos in the most absurd but bewildering and fascinating and endlessly entertaining way. It's something that stirred me, but in an exciting way. I think most people are like can't help but fall in love with someone that embodies pure chaos, like him. And I know when Heath Ledger was cast for that role as the Joker, a lot of people did not like the decision. They were thoroughly disappointed because Heath Ledger's like this pretty boy. You think about him from A Knight's Tale, from The 10 Things I Hate About You. He's just this big old, like, I think he was Australian, like softy with this baby face and long blonde hair. How could he possibly portray someone as dark, conniving, evil as the Joker, especially when someone like Jack Nicholson portrayed him so vividly in Tim Burton's interpretation of it, and he knocked it out of the park. They're like, oh, he'll never live up to it. He fucking incinerated the conception of what that role was like, of what that character could be. He revolutionized it. Not to say that Jack Nicholson didn't do a good job, but his is so much more comic book compared to the raw, real nature of what Heath Ledger brought to the character. So much so that like it killed him in a way, because he just embodied this raw chaos, this devil having a field day. But like there's this childlike awe, but raw, conniving energy that he portrays, and everyone's captivated by it. You can't help but fall in love with him, even though he's like literally tearing down a city so willy-nilly, and tearing down a modern hero that we see, that we revere, like he's like it's nothing. He's in his head from the get-go. He's in everyone's head already. I know I'm going off on our whole rant about The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger, but there's something to be said about the embodiment of chaos. And the Sacred Clown energy is about embodying that chaos. It's about channeling that chaos and saying, like, you really have no control over your world, over your reality, over your life. You must surrender to the will of God, to the embodiment and spirit of the overwhelming precedence that raw nature sets. And that's where the Sacred Clown archetype kicks in here, the shapeshifter. It's like, I can be any person that I need to be to get my message across. I'll take any perspective, I'll wear any mask, but more so it's like the idea that I am a fluid human being. I'm not trying to set myself up to be one type of person versus another. I am here to get a message across, and if I need to convey that in any kind of inflection, tone, persona, I'm gonna do it. There's no hesitation. there's many aspects to my personality, to my persona, to my soul, to how I interact with people on a daily basis. There's no limit. And even the archetype of a sacred clown is like, I'll depart from that in a second if I have to. It's just the easiest way to put a sphere, to put an idea, an abstract concept around how I'm here to communicate with you guys. This also makes me think about the shapeshifter energy of me, and if we're going into the zodiac or the astrological chart, it makes me think about Pisces. I'm a Pisces rising. I'm a Pisces rising in a Saturn in Pisces. And I don't dive that much into what my Saturn in Pisces means, even though I think it relates to the more spiritual side and how my discipline, my work ethic collides with an ever fluid and ever mystical sense of my projection into reality. But Pisces rising, when it comes to your chart, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. It's mutable water. It's adapting to everything around it. It doesn't have to be one solid thing. It's about as fluid as it can be. It's water in motion, adapting to everything around it. And that's how I am with all my life circumstances, my work ethic, how I apply myself, how I move through life. It's like, I don't really try to set a precedent that often unless I have a message to convey. More so, I'm seeing where my energy is needed and what manifestation of that energy needs to come out in any given moment. I'll come across 11 different people and I will present myself in 11 different ways. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. I have no one set projection of this ego that I'm trying to get across. My ego is just a puppet that I play with in order to convey messages of spirit at this point, guys. Like, that's as raw and as simplistic as I can put it for you. There's no standard of an image that I need to portray. It's going to be constantly fluid. You can't really catch this image that I'm trying to portray. It's just always in motion. And that's why for so long I've been so confused about how am I going to employ myself? How am I going to be a person? What job even makes sense for me? Honestly, never fucking mattered at all. I just needed to flow with spirit and be in touch with my own divinity, and everything else is going to work out for itself. It's something it took me 26 and nearly 27 years to accept for myself, but you arrive at some fucking point. All right, that's the shapeshifter energy. If you followed me, kudos. Good on you. Whew. And the last card, third card that came out, and fourth if you consider the underlying energy of the mentor, is Althea. Althea. We'll tap in. We'll see. I've pulled it before. I've gotten a message, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right. Keep on burping. I spent a little bit more time with this one because it's still an idea that, like, it's not about like logic with this guy. It was just 333. 3. It's like this love that transposes everything. It's like a very simplistic, like, black or white, no matter who you are, no matter what the circumstance, there's going to be a purity of love that's present. And the dichotomy and the divide and the upside down and the darkest of darks and the lightest of lights. It's a radiant love that wants to be emitted, that wants to be felt and seen. It doesn't need to be understood. Just to feel it and see it in some form is enough. But you don't even need to see it. It's felt. And that's what I'm here to embody for you. My energy for you is unwavering. My light, my grace, it's unwavering. For a long time it was, don't get me wrong. There was little certainty, There was confidence, but it wasn't surefire. Surefire again, surefire fire. But this is speaking to a love, a grace, a candor of divinity and spirit that I am here to embody for you, through the black or white. And this kind of gets transposed a little bit. You can see the mirroring that's going on here between the judge and this. Know that any judgments that I put out there into this world, any discerning things that seem very cold at times, know that it's only backed by this. The certainty of the presence of Spirit of God within me, the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, going right down the center within me. There's a purity in my heart. There's a purity in yours too. It's just whether or not you want to admit that to yourself. And if you're on the journey, you will get there. It's just the admittance, the confidence. I've got a heart of gold, people. I'm not gonna fucking lie. It's gotten to the point where it's like, it's too silly of me not to admit I got a heart of fucking gold, and no one can take that from me. My self-worth is through the fucking roof. It's transcended this reality. It's connected to God. All right? And there's a piece of you that you're going to see in me. And that's what I want to inspire within you. You've got a heart of fucking gold. And you will overcome anything that this world throws at you. You will move mountains by the sure will of your heart. And this guy right here, I'm not trying to flick you off, all right? This guy is your third eye. That's the third eye. That's the jewel right here. That's your intuition, your discernment, your knowledge. You're seeing through the veil between worlds, between realities. It took me a very long time to admit to myself that I was psychic, that I was tapped into something that other people couldn't see. And I don't mean that I can see dead people. I was literally just having a conversation with a coworker a couple days ago, and it's like, very few people in the past have I ever told that I'm psychic. And after what I've transmuted over the past month or so, it's just been a wake-up call to be like, you need to be transparent. Be transparent with yourself and everyone that you come across, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this channel effectively. But this has been a coworker that I've been working with a couple months, and he was asking me about me referencing going to see like a psychic, an oracle that I know and I love, and she's a very good friend of mine. And I was just flat out with him. I was like, yeah, man, I don't know how to tell you this without like me seeming like I have 7 heads, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm connected with spirit. I don't know how else to tell you. I feel things that are out of this world. My highest highs, my emotions are the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. All I know is that I'm tapped into extrasensory things, whether you want to call it like ESP, being a hypersensitive person, being overly emotional, being fucking triple Scorpio with a Pisces rising. I'm tapped into it. I can see through other people's bullshit. I can read other people's thoughts, their minds, more so just intuit what they're thinking based off what they're showing me, how they're feeling. But I know people's transgressions. I know how people lie to themselves. And I know when they're lying to me. Oh, you can't fucking lie to me. I see it all. And I'm tapped into the fucking creator, the source, the mother, the father, the Holy Spirit. Basically any energy that I want to connect with, I can. It's just a matter of believing and just seeing it through. And I'm not here to like boost up my ego for you guys and brag. It's just like, it's just a matter of fact at this point. Like, if I want to tap in, I can. And it's really, for the longest time, I think I would have been frightened to admit that to myself, and to much less admit that on camera. in front of other people. But it's just the nature of who I am. Yeah. Already getting to be about 40 minutes into this, but I've got a lot to say. It's been a while. This is kind of just the introduction. It's like the first day of school. Like the syllabus is going out. Like that's what this video is supposed to be about for you guys. If you want to understand me and all these future fucking videos that are going to come out, watch this video. I mean, you're already here, 40 minutes in. But thank you for sitting with me. But yeah, anyway, I fucking love you. This is unconditional love. I'm going to show you what it's like to embody a Christed energy in your heart and to have discernment to see through what's going on in this physical plane and to help you make sense what's going on in the spiritual dimensions, in the collective psyche, in your own internal reality, so that you can bolster your intuition. Because I'm a pretty intuitive motherfucker. It just, took me a while to realize that and to actually tap in. And now that I've tapped in and I've followed my intuition, I've been getting kicked in the ass to follow my intuition over these past few months. And it's been up until this real past month of August 2022. That spirit was like, no, you can't. There's no logic or sense to be made of the situation. You have to follow your intuition. You've got to walk blindly down this road and trust us. And trust yourself, more importantly. I was like, I mean, I guess, like, it's about time, and I probably should have been doing this, but, like, all right, yeah, let's do it. It's like walking a tightrope with a blindfold on. But it works out, and it's like somehow I find my footing, and it's like a part of me, like my ego, like the bit that's there, it wants me to be like, oh, fuck you, like you were wrong, I was right. But that hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't happened at all. And that's a part of where this transparency is coming out from. I'll wrap up with this little anecdote. I drove my younger brother and sister to the movies last night. My oldest brother kept the theater open because he's a manager there. We were allowed to see Spider-Man, the extended edition. Got a couple more jokes, 11 more minutes worth. Pretty fun. But I hadn't seen the movie since January, so I wanted to go see it again. We went out, we came back. My brother and sister, went right to bed because it was after 1 o'clock. And I've been going for a lot of walks over this past month to try to make sense, to clear my head. Because there's just been so much going on that maybe I'll reveal, but just a lot going on. A lot that I needed to clear out. And it was really foggy out. Couldn't see the moon. A couple nights ago, there were coyotes. Like, I heard off way in the distance. I was like, oh, should I be walking this late? Because it was like 11 o'clock. It was like 1:30 last night. I was like, yeah, I should go for a walk. And a little foggy, and I felt called to just walk in the center of the road. And I was like, that's usually not a smart idea to just walk in the center of the road. But it's, there's a yellow line on a black road in the middle of the night, and it's foggy. And it's 1:30 in the morning. No one else is going to be driving. So yeah, walk down the center of that line. And Spirit was like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do this entire time. We have a yellow brick road right here fucking for you. It's clear, it's golden, it's divine. You just need to trust us. Walk the middle way. Be in line with yourself. And we'll carry you through the darkness. We know that you're in the dark. But you have to trust us, all right? That's what I hope to be for you guys. A yellow brick road, the middle way, a light for all y'all. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm really looking forward to working with y'all. Peace, peace.